I wanted to wrap up the whole marketing aspect of
Yeah.
our conversation. What do you think, in your experience, or what do you find more challenging? Is it developing the digital strategy, or is it the social media aspect, managing the social media? Because I think even learning from like going through this whole experience and like building the podcast and then building trying to build the brand behind it. Like I remember my website, I just built it myself because I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't want to pay anyone to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out. I wish I did pay someone because it was a big headache and I didn't need to go through it, but we learned, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But when we were working on the rebrand, we looked at the website and my friend was telling me like, how does this make you feel? I'm like, what do you mean? Like I never, all these little things that you talked about today, like the font, the colors, that, like all this, I never knew, maybe subconsciously these things were affecting me, but
Yeah.
I was never aware that all these little things play into creating this whole thing. And from a social media aspect, I think, like, do you know Gary Vee? Gary Vee, exactly. So this guy is, in my opinion, he's the content marketing king. Like, it's unbelievable.
And he speaks to our generation.
Yeah, he really does. And everything he says, like, almost every video he posts, I'm like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I believe that. But so his thing has always been about consistency, and he's active everywhere on like LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere he's
Yeah.
there. And I'm like, how do you, like, it must be so like difficult to manage. That's why I think the social media, I'm asking you because the social media management side, to be good at it and to be very active on it, is almost a job in itself.
Yeah.
So what do you find more challenging? Is it the digital strategy behind it or actually managing that social media?
I think each one of them, if you talk about it, they offer their own challenges. But I feel the more work, what I would think is the strategy. Because,
strategy.
yeah, once the
Okay.
strategy is in place, it's about coming up with content, and you can pre-do it. There's so many scheduling softwares these days. There's so much that you can say once you know what to say. But then once
okay.
you don't know what you're really going to come up with, because you don't know what the brand is all about, except for their products, it's then that becomes hard. So I
Okay.
think the main work is developing the backbone, is really making
backbone.
sure that structure is there, is in place.
Yeah, okay. Actually, no, that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense now. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I've struggled with it for so long, because I'm like, I'm on the fly and like,
I know.
I need to post, but like, I don't know what to post. And then like, it's a bit.
Which is why you must find it hard, because we're sort of doing the same thing, and when it becomes your personal brand,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
similarly it was for me when I was working with brands. It was so easy because I loved it. I knew what the brand's philosophies were, and then I'm taking it forward from there. Of course, in a lot of ways I helped create those strategies as well, but at least there was something that was there. When I was on my own, I was like a headless chicken. I'm like, who am I? What is my brand?
Sure,
Okay,
sure.
what am I telling people?
Yeah.
That is so hard, and we don't realize that personal branding is a very hard thing. And then promoting yourself, there's all of those elements that come into place because you're so vulnerable, and it's your personality.
Yeah.
What should people know about you? What should they not know about you? What things do you value or care about to speak about?
Yeah.
And how do you then translate it into your visuals and
Yeah.
everything?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like learning about personal branding and how to sell and promote yourself has been probably the biggest learning curve and biggest challenge. I'm still learning and like trying to do it better, but that I think has been one of the biggest things with the podcast and like the coaching that's coming and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's challenging.
But you're doing so well. I really
I try.
appreciate
We try.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the logo is really good. You see there's a science behind it. You see it.
Yeah, I had an awesome team that helped me out with that. The logo. Yeah. Shout out to the Sen Studio guys. Yeah, the logo actually took a while. That was
Yeah.
the thing. Everything else kind of fell into place a lot easier. But now I'm at a point that I have all the branding,
Yeah.
all the content. I'm just like, what do I use when? Should I use this picture here with what? What content goes with this picture with
Yeah.
that thing? So I'm still trying to figure that out and like learn. But I think in time we'll just we'll get better with that.
Makes sense.
The last thing I wanted to ask you, sorry about the marketing, I forgot about it, was what do you think about TikTok? What do you think about, because
okay.
from the research I've looked at, TikTok, everyone, coming back to Gary Vee, even himself, he's like, this is gonna this is the future of like that kind of like content and like branding and marketing. And so many businesses now are on it.
Yes,
So
yeah.
what do you think about TikTok? Do you think it's now's the time to get into it, or there's still more to come?
I think sometimes when there's a cult of something and there's a cult rejecting it, it's I don't really believe in it. So
Okay.
for me, I'll be sitting with a bunch of professionals in a room discussing marketing, and you talk about TikTok, they're like, oh, come on, like our brand is not all about that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're saying that, you're going to regret it, because that's where majority, sorry,
That's right.
of the people are. And it doesn't mean that, if you're a brand, you're going to go ahead and you're going to make these crazy videos. And no, you just be on those platforms as a brand, and then you come up with creative ways to promote yourself on TikTok, because the audience is already there. But do things that you care about and do them different.
Yeah.
I think if your consumers are there, if your audience is there, then definitely be on it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, this as well, that it also comes back to the mindset that as consumers of content, we're becoming like this, that it's coming to this, that, we're just sometimes like mindless things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
You
we
said it
enjoy
right.
watching mindless things.
We do.
So as marketeers, it's our job, because unfortunately it's now the real part of the marketing psychology, but this is how we learn. We have to get your attention.
Yeah.
So if you're a person who's mindlessly watching content and they are trying to consume things that interest them, then we need to cater our content in such a way that it speaks to them.
Exactly.
They're not going to sit and read if they're that sort. They're going
Yeah.
to, whole texts and, static images.
Yeah.
Probably they would like that, some person to be telling it to them in a fun TikTok-y way.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, no, that's
You
true.
know?
That's true.
So I know I've seen some brands that are actually on TikTok now, and it's just nice to see how they're sending messages across using that. It's just a new realm, I think.
Yeah, exactly. It's a brand new way, and it's like you said, TikTok is, you can go down the rabbit hole for sure. I've been down many times. You start with like one video and then you just keep scrolling because it's just endless content.
Yeah.
But there's I think it's more, probably out of all the platforms, it's the most engaging.
Yeah.
Because they're short, it's a video, like maximum I think it's a minute, maybe longer, but like.
And it's casual and fun.
Exactly,
You see, Khalid, after this whole COVID, something that I've seen a big change is that I think people just want to be more real now, right? For me, even the whole, I wanted to change my LinkedIn picture as well. I haven't gotten around to doing it because I just think that no longer defines me. Although I find it really hard still to dress down, because I've been so used to wearing business suits and being in that whole corporate image. But now I'm on my own. And I think after COVID, I went through that time as well, where I realized that, we just want unrefined and, normal, real versions of ourselves. Never before would we imagine that, we'd be speaking to our senior colleagues on Zoom chats and we'd see their kids in the background. But you're seeing that empathetic touch to relationships that were there before, but you just got to see the real people more, I think, after this whole thing. And TikTok is all about that. It's just very casual, it's very raw, and that's what people want now. And again, there's another thing that we spoke about that day of voyeurism and how we as individuals, we do prefer seeing the backside of things, the real deal, how things go.
Everyone's more interested now. I'm not interested in the success story is great, but I want to know how you got there. I want to know about the sleepless nights you had. I want to know about how you had like a few dollars and then you turned it all around. That is where we, I guess, get our biggest lessons and learn from, because success is success, but learning from the failures that people had to get to that success, I think that's what people are a lot more interested in now.
True.
And I think you made a very good point about the empathy that has come out as a result of this whole thing. And honestly, that's when TikTok kind of blew up. At least, if I'm not mistaken, here it was during COVID. That's when I got on it. That's what all my friends got on it, and now it's like huge.
Not for kids anymore, right?
No, it's not. Everyone used to think, yeah, it's kids dancing. Okay, yes, a lot of it is that. I'm not gonna lie here. It is, but now there's so many people on actors and news stations. Like even NBC has a channel. I was like, what are you guys doing on TikTok? But that's the reality of it now.
So
it's just getting in this new world. No, for sure.